What's going on, everyone? Spartan here today with another video, and today's video is going to be a little bit of a mixed bag. I'm going to be starting the process of setting up my 125-gallon fish tank, and I figured I'd take you guys along with me. This is part one, of course, and I also am going to show you guys a couple tips and tricks on how I save a little bit of money along the way. So to get right into it, the first thing to save you guys a little bit of money is think unorthodox about some of the equipment and supplies. Like, for instance, this background here you see isn't some fancy, expensive background. It's literally just poster board that I bought at the dollar store for $1, a poster board. So I figured, hey, you know what? If it looks terrible and, it doesn't fit right or whatever, for $3, it's no big deal. But, of course, I could have went out and bought the pre-cut and everything, what do you want to call it, aquarium background paper that's laminated and everything. But that would have ran me maybe $15 or $20 for the length of the 6-foot tank. And, I figured for $3, why not? Of course, stick around to the end of the video. You'll see the full results and what it looks like once it's done. But, of course, this isn't going to be a permanent background because it's paper. So, of course, I expect water to get a little wet and maybe have to replace it. But, again, for the price, why not? Not a big deal. So, yeah. Next, I'm going to be talking about some of the equipment and things I'm going to be using inside of the tank. As you guys can see, inside of the tank right now, I have an FX2. I'm going to definitely be using that on this 125-gallon tank. But don't worry, it's not the only filtration I'll be running on the tank. I'm also running a 30-gallon sump tank in the bottom that you guys will see later on. And that'll also supplement the FX2. And I think between the two of them and pretty much a low stock count, I think that'll do wonderful for the 125. And if you guys have any tips, tricks, any recommendations, or things that you see I could do better, whether it's equipment or whatever we're going to talk about in this video, feel free to drop a comment. I love reading the comments. It's also good for engagement. But yeah, so back to what I was saying. That's filtration. And then the heater is a 800-watt Haiger dual quartz heater that I got. I'll be using that, and I'll also be making a review on that when I have some time under my belt using it and seeing how it controls the temperature of the water inside of a tank this big. And also, I will be using a 200-watt heater inside of the sump tank to supplement the heater inside of the main tank or display tank, so that way it isn't working as hard to reheat the water that is leaving the tank. So yeah, that's pretty much most of the equipment I'm going to be using, asides of a bubbler, air pump, whatever you want to say. I haven't decided what I'm going to be using for an air pump yet, or if I'm going to be using two of them or one of them. I don't know yet. But if you have a suggestion on a cheap, affordable one and a reliable one, please do feel free to drop it in the comments below. But yeah, so that's pretty much most of the equipment. As I said, I can't think of anything else on the top of my head that I'm going to be using. I don't know. I could get the name of the pump that I'm going to be using. It came with everything. I got the tank as a package deal here for, I think it was $150. I got the tank, the stand, and a 30-gallon Tsunami brand sump tank, all for $150, and the guy delivered it right to my house, and he carried it in with his buddy and everything. So that's another tip and trick. I've talked about it before, and I'm going to say it again, is keep your eye out on Facebook Marketplace, keep your eye out on Craigslist, eBay, all of those things, especially eBay if you can local pick up, because that'll save you some money on the bigger items like these canister filters or tanks or anything like that. But Facebook Marketplace too, especially. That on another money-saving thing, that Fluville FX2 that you see inside of the tank there, I managed to snag that Fluville FX2 for $25. Yeah, you heard me right, $25. Okay, and the deals are out there. Just, it might not happen right away. You might not be looking for that piece of equipment right now, but they're out there. And when you have the money, or you're working on a project slowly and it pops up, you got to strike while the iron is hot. You guys all know I've been waiting and kind of buying a piece of equipment here or buying a supply here for the 125 gallon. I'm in really no rush. The fish that I want to move into the 125 gallon are comfortable in the 75 gallon and are doing fine in the 75 gallon and will be doing fine in the 75 for the foreseeable future. So I wasn't in any really big rush to get this 125 up and running. When I had my silver arowana, that kind of did light a fire under my butt to get the 125 up and running faster, because once he got to his teenage years, I didn't really feel comfortable keeping him in a 75 gallon. If you guys know arowanas, you know why. But yeah, so you guys are all probably wondering actually too where the arowana went and where he is. Sadly, he passed away from sudden death syndrome. Long story short, he stopped eating, and then within 3 days, he passed away. I obviously checked my water parameters. My water parameters were fine. I then checked him, gave him like a quick autopsy without like doing any like actual cutting or anything. I checked his gills for any ammonia burn or anything like that. Gills were fine. I opened his mouth and checked if there's maybe like any food or something that maybe got stuck that he couldn't swallow or something. Nope, everything was good there. Obviously, I checked his body for any damage or any fins or anything like that, any scales, and everything there was fine too. So I just surmised it to be sudden death syndrome, and I kind of conferred it with a couple friends who are bigger into arowanas and have had arowanas longer than I have. So sadly, he is swimming free in the big ocean in the sky. But I do miss the fish, but it kind of slowed me down on this progress with the 125. I also won't lie, I was getting kind of concerned with water changes and how I was going to do it, and especially in the place it was, I was kind of getting even more concerned about how I was going to do that, until I picked up the Python no-spill water change system, which I'll have a video up for that soon, hopefully. If there is already a video about that, I'll have a link for it in the description. But this piece of equipment is absolutely essential for any tank bigger than like 45 gallons realistically, because it eliminates buckets completely, and you could just fill your tank up seamlessly, do your water changes seamlessly, and it's necessary. So I ended up actually having to move this tank across the basement to where my Python could reach. I mean, I, of course, could buy extensions, but the extensions are pretty pricey on their own for the Python, and reasonably so for the quality that the product is. But I said, you know what, I can move the tank and still have it in a good spot and everything, and make it fit with the current length of Python hose that I had. So I did that. So that really kind of actually got me excited and got the fire lit under my butt again to get this tank kind of moving and get it done, because the Python really is going to be that game changer to make this tank manageable, because there's no way I'm going to be carrying 10 or 12 or whatever 5-gallon buckets every other week or every week or every month, depending on how heavily planted I'm going to have this tank. There's no way I'm doing that. And this tank is down in my basement, so there's also no way I'm going up and down the stairs just to, fill the water, dump the water, fill the water, dump the water. It's impossible. It's not going to happen. And I'm not going to sacrifice my fish's health because I'm going to be lazy and not do the maintenance. Maintenance is important. You have to do your maintenance. You have to do your water changes, or else you're going to suffer. Your fish are going to suffer, and you don't want that. Especially, you don't want your fish suffering. You want them to have a healthy life, a happy life. Especially because you took the responsibility of being their fishy parents. So definitely think about it like that too. So keeping in that rhythm and being honest, maintenance is the only guaranteed thing in this hobby. You're going to have fish die, you're going to have things come and go, you're going to have passions for this type of thing come and go, but the only thing guaranteed in this hobby is maintenance. So if you don't want to do maintenance, then you're in the wrong hobby, because a fish tank is not just some decorative ornament that you put in a room and you don't touch it and don't think about it. No, you have to be actively trimming plants if you're doing plants, gravel siphoning, water changes, cleaning filters, checking your heater, checking temperatures, checking water parameters. These are all things that you're going to have to do, and it doesn't matter if it's a 5-gallon tank or if it's a 100-gallon tank or if it's a 10,000-gallon tank. These are crucial things that you're just going to have to get used to, and you're just going to have to do it, because if you value your fish's life and their health and their happiness, then you're just going to have to suck it up and do it. It sucks, but hey, get used to it. Find tools, pieces of equipment, things that are going to make it easier for you, and do it and rock with it. As I said, this Python has been a game changer for me, and I'm going to try and tell everybody about it I can if you're a serious fish keeper and you have bigger tanks, because it really is going to make that difference. So with that being said, we're coming to the end here, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and you guys can kind of see the end result here. Sorry for the lighting. I'll see if I can get some pictures, and of course you'll be seeing more of this tank in the near future. But hey, not bad for a little bit of cardboard or poster board and some tape and a little bit of time, and it really made the difference in making this tank look a little bit better. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you guys can leave me a like and subscribe, and there'll be more videos. I hope to see you guys soon. Bye bye.